Hideo Kojima's latest Death Stranding 2 trailer has ignited a wave of speculation, discussion, and excitement. Fans and critics alike are dissecting every frame, analyzing the game's narrative, character designs, and gameplay changes. However, one aspect stands out above the rest: the overwhelming Metal Gear Solid influence. From the character archetypes to mechanical designs, the echoes of Kojima's past are loud and clear. Now the question is, does Death Stranding 2 represent a fresh new direction, or is it Kojima's leaning too heavily on that kind of a nostalgia? And one of the most talked about elements of the trailer is the introduction of Neil, played by Luca Marinelli, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Now his character design, kinda like a rugged look, tactical gear, and a signature bandana, immediately drew comparisons to Solid Snake. Fans have jokingly dubbed him as Snake Man Solidson, or my favorite, Stranding Snake, and for good reasons. Kojima's attention to detail means nothing is an accident, so what does Neil's design and role signify? Now Kojima has always explored the themes of isolation, duty, and essential kind of a burden. Solid Snake was a soldier weighted down by the consequences of the war, and while Sam Porro Bridges in Death Stranding carries a literal and metaphorical weight as he reconnected humanity. Could Neil be a fusion of these sorts of ideas, a new character who embodies both stealth and survival, but within Death Stranding's unique framework? Alternatively, it is simply a visual nod meant to evoke nostalgia, making longtime Metal Gear fans feel at home. If so, is there a risk that Neil could be overshadowed by comparisons, preventing him from standing out as his own character? The massive ship seen in the trailer, the DHV Magellan, bears a striking resemblance of Metal Gear Rex, not just in size and mechanical complexity, but in its silhouette and towering presence. Kojima has a history of designing imposing war machines that serve as a symbol for both technological progress and human folly. In Metal Gear, Rex was a weaponized nuclear threat. What role would the Magellan play in Death Stranding? Well, that seems to be a bigger question. Now, Kojima often uses machines as a metaphors for humanity's complex desires: progress versus destruction, control versus freedom. Now, in the Death Stranding, technology was paradoxically both a means of connection and the potential cause of the annihilation. If the DHV Magellan follows in Rex's footsteps, it could represent a similar duality, a vessel meant to save, but capable of causing irreversible damage. Is this a clever way to integrate Metal Gear DNA into a new franchise, or does it blur the lines between homage and a replication? And so the first Death Stranding was quite divisive in its gameplay approach, focusing on traversal, delivery, and world building over traditional action. And the latest trailer, however, suggests a more of a dramatic shift. We see elements of stealth, gunplay, and more traditional action-oriented mechanics. This naturally raises questions about the game's identity. Is Death Stranding 2 leaning towards a Metal Gear-esque experience? Now, part of that, what made the original Death Stranding stand out, was its deliberate pacing. The emphasis on solitude, landscape traversal, and indirect interactions with other players created a meditative kind of experience. And if Death Stranding 2 adapts a more action-focused approach, will it dilute what made the original so unique? And alternatively, this could be a natural evolution. Kojima is known for expanding gameplay possibilities in sequels. Metal Gear Solid 2 introduced an advanced AI and deception, while Metal Gear Solid 5 embraces open-world stealth. If Death Stranding 2 builds upon its predecessor's mechanics while incorporating stealth and combat in quite a meaningful ways, it could redefine the genre yet again. Unsurprisingly, the fanbase, is divided. Metal Gear Solid veterans are thrilled by the familiar aesthetic and mechanics, while purists of Death Stranding fans worry that the sequel may lose its distinctiveness. The broader question here is how Kojima balances his creative identity between past and the future. And of course, as we guys already know it, Kojima is an auteur, and certain themes, technological overreach, human connections, and existential dread run through all of his work. Some view this as a kind of like a creative evolution, while others argue he's in kind of a retreading familiar grounds. Is Death Stranding 2 an example of him refining his idea, or is it just simply Metal Gear under a new name? Nevertheless, the gaming industry is steeped in nostalgia, with remakes, reboots, and callbacks becoming increasingly common. When used effectively, nostalgia enhances the storytelling by building on players' emotional connections, evoking past experiences while introducing fresh perspectives. However, over-reliance on familiar tropes can stifle innovation, making games feel like rehashed versions of their predecessors rather than groundbreaking new experiences. With Death Stranding 2, the Metal Gear callbacks are undeniable, from character designs to potential gameplay influences, but the real question is, do these references serve to enrich the experience, or do they risk overshadowing the game's originality? When nostalgia is done right, it can strengthen a game's identity rather than dilute it. Kojima is known for weaving recurring themes, war, human connection, technology's impact on society across his work, but he often presents them quite in new ways. If Death Stranding 2 integrates these elements while refining its own core mechanics and narrative, then the Metal Gear nods may serve a thematic bridge rather than a reliance on the past's successes. And on the flip side, if these similarities extend beyond aesthetics and atmosphere, if the game starts feeling a little closer to Metal Gear's successor rather than its own entity, it could dilute what made Death Stranding so unique in the first place. Nostalgia should enhance the game's vision, not define it. So, where does Death Stranding 2 fall? Will Kojima's signature style and storytelling evolution balance the nostalgic elements, or will it lean too much on the past glory? That's what makes this conversation so exciting. Whether this game will push boundaries or merely echo the past remains to be seen. You know, the Death Stranding 2 trailer has set the stage for quite a fascinating discussion. Is Kojima bringing his past and the future in kind of innovative way, or is the nostalgia playing too big of a role? Are the Metal Gear inspired elements a tribute, a design shortcut, or perhaps something deeper? Now do let me know of your thoughts as well down in the comments, I'd love to read it. Thank you so much for watching guys, like and subscribe, I'll see you guys all again, and yeah, have a wonderful day.